Hi, I'm Trisha Barretto. I'm a psychic medium, and today I want to share my twin flame experience. This is for a twin flame that has passed, that is in spirit. First, I'm going to read what I wrote about my experience because this is it's still pretty fresh. This was written on March 22nd, and today is April 2nd. So about a week ago or so, I wrote this. And I'm going to read it because I don't want to forget anything. I don't want to leave anything out. This is very much fresh and new, and I'm still kind of trying to wrap my head around it all. But again, if you have a twin flame in spirit or someone who you think is your twin flame that has passed, that has died, is no longer in a physical body, this may be something you want to listen to. Okay. My teenage boyfriend John died suddenly from testicular cancer when he was 18 years old. We met that summer in Bakersfield, California. I traded living in the nice part of town to go live in the hood where gangsters became friends and selling drugs paid the bills. I was a homeless teen from an abusive home that my boyfriend's sister took in. Which I need to reword that because he wasn't my boyfriend. First, I met his sister and she took me in, and then he became my boyfriend. While staying with his sister and her 4 kids surrounding us, we fell in love. He was different than everyone else in the environment. He stood out. John was quiet but strong. His dark eyes carried the depth of an ocean. He was gentle and made me feel safe when everything else felt scary. He looked after me while he was sick and dying, and none of us knew it. It all happened in the blink of an eye. One day, he had an angry outburst. We thought he was on drugs. The police were called to the house where they maced and arrested him. He urinated blood in jail and was taken to the hospital where he went into a coma. The doctor said they found testicular cancer and it spread to his brain. That's why he was sleeping a lot and had the outburst. After his funeral, I wanted to die and almost attempted to end my life. I was already familiar with grief and loss. My grandmother that raised me had passed years before, leaving me with abusive parents I didn't know. I remember thinking, everyone I love dies. It's me. I'm the problem. The pain and loss I felt is indescribable. I felt lost, like nothing mattered anymore. So I went back home to my abusive father. He had gotten married in my absence and decided to move us to Texas. 1 year later, I was dating a guy in Texas named John. My father and stepmother threw me out after I got pregnant and refused to get an abortion. Months later, my daughter Angel was born. A couple years later, my son was born. Life got harder, but we survived. In 2017, I was super Christian for many years. Raising my son in the church, doing ministry, all of it. My faith came out of necessity for God. I didn't have anyone but God to depend on. My love for God grew, but my belief in religion declined. It was at a time where God and Spirit seemed to intervene and send me my partner. He was the son of an old Army veteran that helped me out when I was a teenager in Bakersfield. What are the odds that we were both living in Las Vegas down the street from each other? He was given to me just as I was walking away from Christianity. We still both loved God, but it was clear we were on different spiritual paths, but we were bound together. 2019, I became curious about New Age spirituality, doing lots of research, self-reflection, and still believing in God. I saw an offer online for a free medium reading from students learning mediumship in a program. I just wanted to hear from my grandmother. The student struggled a bit and gave me vague communication from the other side. Then she said someone with a J name is coming through. I said, is it my great uncle Joe? She said no. Then she kept persisting about the J name. I racked my brain and couldn't figure out who it could be until I hung up the phone. Then it hit me. It was John, my teenage boyfriend, and that explained the man I felt in my home watching me, trying to get my attention. I'm just going to interject here. This is not written, but yeah, I did feel like there was a man standing over me and like waking up yelling at him to get out because I didn't know what I was feeling. I was in Christianity, so I was taught that, there's like demonic spirits and like all this evil stuff. And so that was going on in the background of this. At the time, I hated the work I was doing. I wanted to do something meaningful to help others. I didn't know what it was, but I was looking for what felt right. I joined some spiritual groups on Facebook. I was curious about what my soul knew and wanted. I read a lot of spiritual stuff trying to figure out what my gifts were so I could create a business using them. That way I could help people and support my family. I explored a lot. Then one day while scrolling a psychic medium group on Facebook, I noticed the photos people post of dead loved ones. They were standing out to me. They were drawing me in the same way my great aunt's old photo albums did when I was a 7-year-old kid. She had lots of photos of old relatives and people I never met. I would sit there flipping the album pages looking at their photos over and over again. I decided to suspend any doubt I had about what was happening and commented on the photos, sharing what I felt. The people that posted the photos were shocked, asking me how did I know all of these things about their passed on loved ones. I quickly learned I could communicate with the dead through photos. Within weeks, I didn't need the photos. I could communicate with spirit without them. Then I realized all the knowing I had within myself was my own psychic abilities. Somewhere in there, I learned I could communicate with animals. My dog and best friend Bella helped with that one. Bella's in spirit now, and she still helps, and she's just amazing. All these new abilities came in fast, as if they were always there waiting for me to discover them. But I knew I was getting help from God and my loved ones in spirit. So I just kept doing what felt right. And I felt those in spirit were taking me through a fast training program. I started doing free readings for others so I can learn everything. Spirit helped me learn through different types of readings. I remember a month of doing suicide readings, then a pull to do missing person readings. I even taught mediumship to those that wanted to learn. When it came to teaching mediumship, I would ask John to help my students practice. And I know he did because they described him and stuff about his passing that I never shared with anyone. I was reading for people on the internet located all over the world. This is not written, but I'm just going to interject. At this point, I still didn't know. I still thought John was my teenage boyfriend that had passed, and he was just casually helping me in spirit, just like my grandmother would. I did not know, and I never even associated John with being a twin flame. I didn't believe in twin flames because everything I read about it was really toxic and unhealthy. The little bit I knew about it just it wasn't good. So I didn't know. I just thought he was this person that cared about me because we had this brief time together as teenagers, and he was just hanging out in spirit, just helping just like anybody else in spirit would. I did not know, okay? After devoting so much time learning, I set up my psychic medium website. I did the work for 6+ years. I always talked to my loved ones in spirit, asking them to help me do this work. Those in spirit became very important to me, and I enjoyed talking to them all the time. From tribes of ancient souls to modern famous people in spirit, I've talked to so many souls. I'm so grateful for them and this ability. I will not cry, but so true. In 2022, I reached out to John's little sister. I felt like John was urging me to, and I told her about my mediumship with her brother. She shared with me her and her brother could see dead people when they were kids. She wasn't surprised her brother was helping me do this work. I felt called to do missing person work on a larger scale, so I took on several cases back to back. 3 of them were wives and mothers that had been murdered, dismembered, and their bodies hidden by their husbands. You can imagine how challenging it was using my abilities to locate their scattered bodies. Every night I would stay up late at my desk, searching maps, working with spirit to get location insight relentlessly. It broke my heart in ways nothing else has in life. These women became my friends. I'm not going to cry. In spirit. And I was doing it for them and their children left behind in this world. I remember one night crying out to whoever was listening, I don't want to be here in a world like this. I want to live in a place where only love exists. It wasn't because I was suicidal. It was because my capacity to love others grew so big that nothing in this world made sense to me anymore. I had awakened through years of spiritual growth. Shortly after saying, I want to live in a place where only love exists, someone in spirit joined me in my home office. I always know when someone in spirit is close to me because I get a specific type of chills on my body, but this felt different yet familiar. I knew it was John. His name was everywhere before he showed up. All the movies, songs, anything I watched, listened to, or looked at was his name, and shared love stories about a boy and girl separated by death. Even a movie called My Boyfriend's Back, 1993, about a girl's boyfriend named Johnny that dies showed up in my feed. I had learned to trust my own intuition and abilities to know it was him. I knew the signs. I felt his gentle nature for the first time in 28 years, so close to me, just like when we were teenagers. I didn't know how he was visiting. I didn't know how long he was visiting, but this visit was different. I could feel him physically in a way I never had before. The heat from him when he got close, the shift in energy that reminded me of ungrounded electrical wires. The tingles even felt different from all the others in spirit. Little ones that landed on my face, hands, and body. Waves of chills and an icy hot feeling coursing through my body, like little squeezes of my hands, arms, and legs. Then a feeling of his energetic body entering my stomach. At times, I can't tell if he's outside of me or inside of me. This was like a week ago. Now it usually always feels like he's inside of me, I think. John stayed. I asked him to prove it was him. I'll be honest, the first night I was scared because I work with so many souls. I needed to be sure it wasn't some creepy perv in spirit and really my teenage love. And I'll just interject here. It was not pretty the way I attacked him, like verbally, because I didn't know it was him. And like I said, I work with so many souls in spirit. And you don't ever think that anything, even as a psychic medium, you don't know everything, and now I realize I know very little or remember very little of what my soul truly is and what my soul really knows. But yeah, at the time it was like, I don't know who you are. Prove to me who you are. And just like, I'm so sorry, John. And I love you very much. I asked him a million questions. He was patient and true to his nature, helped me understand what can't be seen with eyes or heard with ears. I asked him to try things with me so I could try to understand how the energy works with people in spirit. I held out my hand like I was giving him a high five and asked him to push back on my hand, and he did. I told him to hold my hand down from moving, and he did. He was strong. Something about all of this felt familiar. It felt natural, like we've done this before. I'm not sure if it's because my soul remembers being in spirit form or because John and I have done this before in other lifetimes. I think the answer is both. I kept asking him questions. I kept asking him to try things with me to test out how his energy moves. I asked him to heal my hip pain and a bump I had. Then I felt the icy hot feeling healing me. Sure enough, in 2 days, the pain and bump were gone. I stopped using sleep aids. I don't seem to need them now. I feel more motivated to take better care of my health. That's a journey. The health journey is always a journey. I also started listening to music a lot, which I normally don't do. I'm going to interject. If you're looking for messages from your loved ones in spirit, go big. Understand, like if you go on Spotify, you will get playlists, not just a song or two, like playlists. Let your heart lead you. And also a fun fact on Spotify, it shows lyrics for the songs as the songs are playing. Not all songs, but a lot of them do. So you can really read the lyrics and understand how it connects with you and your loved one in spirit. And it's not just for twin flames. It could be, your mom in spirit, your dad in spirit. John loved music as a teen and seems like he still does. I also notice I'm losing interest in a lot of TV and not consuming content the way I normally do, but I'm also still me and John is still him. We're just joined together. The big questions I asked John: why are you here now? What are we meant to do with this opportunity? Who are we to each other? How long can you stay? Let me just interject. When I was doing the missing person work, it was so heartbreaking and devastating that I thought to myself, am I even going to do anything anymore with psychic mediumship? Because I was like, this is my business. It's not super financially successful. Yeah, sure, I do readings here and there and I teach here and there, but it's like, and then the missing person work, it was so hard. And it's like, who's even listening? Who's even paying attention to this location insight I'm giving? Is it even helpful? So I had a lot of that. I was like at the end of my rope and I was like, okay, well, I have this other business. I'm an artist, so I can go do my art business and just like put a pin in this and not do anything anymore with psychic mediumship for now. And so I think that could have been also the reason why John chose to come in at that point in time, because it's like, you're not going to give up this work. We're not done here. And I kind of felt that way when I was thinking about giving it up, because I was like, well, maybe I'll just put a pin in it and I'll return to it at another time. Okay, let me get back to this. The questions. I asked him how long can he stay. He came because I needed help and I was ready for it. And he wanted to love me this way. This happened because we both agreed to it before we came into this life. We are meant to love each other, but that love is expansive and we use it to help others. So I would say at this point, I'm going to interject. This is the love that God used to create us and to return to each other, and use the love to expand outside of ourselves to help others, however that looks. And for us particularly, it's helping people remember who their souls are, remember why they're here, also sharing our own twin flame journey. We have shared other lifetimes together, many. I'm not sure how long John can stay. He makes me feel as long as I want. So far, he's been with me for 2 weeks like this. So now we're at like more than 3 weeks. And what I feel at this point, I hope it's not just wishful thinking, but this feels like some type of union. Like, I don't know. I hope that he's with me for the rest of the life that I have in this physical body, and then we go back home together. But, there's a lot of labels. People like to use labels like soul walk-in, soul braiding, twin flame union, but we'll get there. I also felt compelled to reach out to John's little sister, and I was able to get in touch with her and one of his older sisters. I told them what was happening. The calls felt healing, I think, for all of us. I also learned my current partner knew John when he was a kid and played video games with him. It makes me believe all of our souls came here together to accomplish our purposes together. And John's little sister has the same birthday as my partner. My son's birthday aligns with John's and his family too. Numbers and dates hold messages for us all. There are no coincidences. Looking back at the past 28 years, I see John in all of it now. Yet at the time, for the past 28 years, I had no awareness it was him doing everything and doing so much, even things at this very moment that I don't know that he was doing. And I didn't know any of this was even possible. Even as a psychic medium for 6+ years, I didn't know twin flames was real. I didn't know this was possible. I didn't know that another soul was my teenage boyfriend, was my spirit guide, one of my spirit guides leading me, and could come into my body this way and live life in this physical world with me. Are you kidding me? I didn't know any of this. I always kind of feel like this. The more I know, the less I know, really. And because I was so Christian, I credited everything to a Christian God, not realizing when I grew spiritually, my idea of who God is needed to grow too. Not considering the depth of our own souls, our histories over lifetimes, the commitments we made to ourselves and each other that span far beyond life and death. I learned John has the same unconditional love God has for us all. With every breath I take, I can feel him showing me that the love I want to live in can exist in me. I'll say with his help. And also that every single soul that comes to earth has soul amnesia. We really do. We all have psychic abilities, mediumship abilities. I don't know. I can't say with certainty if we all have twin flames, but I kind of think we do at this point. Like, God has made us in 2 parts, and part of this whole soul experience is to heal and have our experiences and come back together and kind of move this world forward in a way that helps it to heal, and just bring more awareness and more love here. Our lives are really meant to be about discovering who we are as souls, honoring that, doing what we came here to do, and evolving into unconditional love. I really do believe that. I'm not sure what's next, so I'm taking it day by day, following John's lead, my heart and spirit. I do know I was put in this world to help, and I have Superman helping me remember how to fly. Never stop believing that anything is possible, even the most magical, craziest things that like you just would never even think. Like, it's like a sci-fi movie. It's like, seriously. And love yourself and others more than you do anything else in your life. That will change everything for you and hopefully others put in your path. I've been asking John what's next, and when I looked at his name, I saw John, which is an acronym for Just Open Hearts Now. And what I did with that is I started a free weekly online mediumship development circle that I lead along with John. And that is actually expanding out as we speak to not just be a free weekly mediumship circle, but also a whole website dedicated to spiritual content, twin flames where one has passed and is in spirit, mediumship, spiritual awakenings, and it's growing. Honey, please, no, please. And I also want to say, when John first came to stay with me, I was searching everywhere on the internet for answers and asking spiritual people if they knew about this. There's a lot about twin flames and about walk-in souls, but there was nothing I could find like my experience with John. As time goes on and we share one body, I wonder if this is also some form of soul braiding. And I would interject here that I don't know that it's his whole consciousness. Part of me thinks like it's part of his consciousness that's within me, and that's the union that we have together now. But labels put our experience in a box when the reality is our souls are limitless and everyone's experience is unique to them. I'm sharing our story to help those searching for answers. The world encourages us to get lost here in this illusion and forget who we are as souls. I encourage you to seek your own truth. With love, Trish and John. So this has been my experience in the past few weeks. This is what I've been going through. There's a lot that can be said about it, but I mean, it's just crazy to me how oblivious I was. Even being a spiritual person, even being a psychic medium, like even with all this knowing, the truth is, John is my twin flame and has, since he's been in spirit for the past 28 years, has been helping me, guiding me, leading me. The reason why I had the psychic abilities, the psychic medium abilities come in probably a lot stronger is because he helped that to happen. And he helped me like with every reading, with everything that we did. He was the one. It was really just, I think more than anything, it was just me and him doing it. And then the people that we were reading for in spirit, you know, I'm still trying to wrap my head around everything because just to see like how oblivious I was, it just makes me wonder how many other people are out here in this world that have a twin flame in spirit and don't even know that's their twin flame. Maybe it was somebody you were close to, like I was for a very short time, that you dated and then they died. And like, you don't even know, you don't even realize that this is the person that is another part of your soul. You know, it's not just like this romantic relationship to covet. It's like, this is part of your soul and you are meant to come back together as one, so to speak, and help this planet evolve and heal, and not self-destruct, because you know, everywhere you look, that's a lot of what's happening. And so I'm sharing my story because I want others to understand what is possible. If this is possible for me, you don't have to be a psychic medium. Remember, I didn't start out as a psychic medium. I never was like this esoteric woo-woo person. That was never my path. I was Christian, and that was my path for a long time. I will say that loving God, I think, has, you know, having this relationship that I have with God, whether as a Christian or not a Christian, that has been pivotal. It has been probably the most pivotal thing that I needed just to get through this life, right? And just to help me on my spirit, all the spiritual awakenings that I've had. And then secondly, the knowledge of knowing that John and I have this special connection, and to trust it and trust that he's helping me do everything in this life and we're moving forward together. And that it's very important that I'm aware of that, and I'm also sending him love back, and that if we have a joint mission here, that we fulfill that mission. And for me, you know, it's really clear. It's like through my mediumship with him, through like all the spiritual stuff that I know and that I continue, that comes back to my awareness, because I feel like we all have this stuff, twin flame or not. We all have this stuff, but it's just hidden within us. It's like when we come into these bodies, into these lives, everything, we have like this amnesia and these blindfolds on. But the more that you can become aware of who your soul is and why you came here, what you came here to do, boy, does things start really making sense and adding up. So I encourage you to explore your soul. And if you feel like you have a twin flame, whether living or in spirit, that's something for you to explore too, because there's a lot of power in that. And I mean, I don't know what it's like to have a twin flame living, because that hasn't been my experience. But with John in spirit, you know, he has a bird's eye view. He can see everything, and he's his powerful self. You know, he's not subject to these bodies here and our limitations here and the amnesia here. So he sees everything. He knows everything. And so because of that, he can help me so much more here. So, you know, I think a lot of times if I talk about my twin flame journey, it's going to be about like if you have a twin flame in spirit, and if you can recognize that person first, and then you can learn to trust them and work with them and figure out what you're meant to do here. It's pretty powerful. It's pretty crazy. You can't make this shit up. It's crazier than fiction. And don't believe, like, if you're trying to learn spirituality, if somebody is very matter of fact about certain spiritual concepts, I wouldn't trust them, because there's not one soul living in this physical world that knows everything, that remembers every single thing. I don't subscribe to that. So, like, I will be the first one to tell you, I know very little, and I only know what I know from my own personal experiences and what my soul's brought back to me. You have to trust your own soul. Also, when I say soul, I also want to include your heart. Your heart, when you're in the best place possible and you're operating out of a place of love, your heart will direct you in the right place, the right way to go, the right people, the right content, the right information. But yeah, like if somebody's very matter of fact about twin flame journey, about mediumship, about a soul awakening, just like all these spiritual things, if they're matter of fact, don't trust them, because they're just speaking from their limited perspective, and they're trying to put you, like, when they teach that way or instruct that way, what it does is it makes you believe that everything is that specific way, and it's not going to be that specific way for everybody. And there's a lot more to the story. There's a lot more. They may get a little bits and pieces here and there, but it's probably not 100% accurate, and it's not 100% full picture, and it's not 100% going to be your story. So stay open and stay curious, and let your heart lead you. And maybe that'll get you to where your soul wants you to be. And I hope you subscribe to this YouTube channel. This is going along with our website, justopenheartsnow.org, and the free weekly mediumship circle I do on Discord. I'll put the links down in the description. I hope this was helpful. I am open to like go on people's podcasts and YouTube channels to share my experience. The physical stuff I still feel with John. There could be like, how do I word this? Like physical, sexual stuff that is possible. There's just like I said, there's healing that's possible. I don't know, like if I had to title it now, I would definitely say this is some sort of twin flame union. However, a walk-in experience is also part, like a shared walk-in experience is absolutely part of it too, because I literally felt him walk into my stomach, and come into me that way. And again, I know it sounds freaking crazy. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it, but this is what it is. This is like, there's no manual that they give you when you come into this life. There should be a manual, like how to do life, like what's true for your soul. But it's like this whole thing of self-discovery. Our souls are here to discover who we really are, and then use our own gifts and powers to love others and make this world a better, more loving, more conscious and aware place to exist in. Because honestly, I don't think souls are going to keep wanting to come back to this place the way that it is in its current state. And this means questioning everything all the way to the tippy top when we look at big entities of power in this world, that run this world, that govern this world. We got to start questioning everything and really trusting our own gut. You know, your gut is your psychic abilities. It's your intuition. And that's all part of it too. And when you can start doing that, you might have more questions and it may feel scary. Hell, I thought I knew who God was. I'm sitting here, and after everything recently in the past 3 weeks with John, I have to evaluate everything I thought I knew about who God is, everything that I thought I knew about life and the creation of a human, like everything, things that I've carried with me for 40 plus years of my life. I have to kind of dismantle and try to recalibrate and figure out what's what. And that can be scary. A lot of people like control. They like to be controlled. They like to be told what to do. So you have to be really well within yourself to go on these journeys. They're not easy, but they're doable. If I can do it, the life that I've had a really bad, like a hard life. Like really, my life has been really hard. You just heard just a little bit and piece of it. But if I can get to this point and my spiritual awareness, anybody can. If I can get to this awareness where I can share mediumship with people and share this twin flame experience with people, anybody can do this. You guys have to remember you're more powerful than just this physical body and this physical life. Your soul has probably been around many times. You probably had many versions of lives that you've experienced. And with each version, you've gotten better. You've gotten more evolved. You got more experience. You got more wisdom. And it's all within you. It's not outside of you. It's all within you. But you have to find the things that spark that and bring that awareness back to you. And I would say God is a good place to start, and loving yourself and loving others is another great and necessary place to start and to keep as you continue on in your spiritual journey. It's so cliche to say it, but I'm going to say it. We are souls having a human experience. That's just what it is. And this world has lots of traps and lots of deception. I mean, that's all it is. It's like this huge illusion and fakeness everywhere. And you have to be able to discern and look beyond that to what's right and what's true for you. And I wish you well, and I hope to see you in the mediumship circle on Discord. Links are in the bio. Check out the John website. Everything's still new. But I think it's going to grow, and it's going to be a really beautiful place of love and awakening for so many people. And I'm always here. I'm always here for questions and in any way that I can be of service. So thanks for listening. Take care. Bye.